movie. Welcome to Slack to the Past. Today's episode, Batman, Mask of the Phantasm.
Batman is a modern legend. I don't mean that in the sense of, Batman is a friggin' legend, brah, but in the sense of Batman's story may as well be traditional folklore. Ask anyone on the street if they know who Batman is, and I guarantee you, 100% will say yes. 80% will know the basics. His parents were killed, he's a billionaire, out for justice, yada yada yada. Hell, 20% will probably be wearing some kind of apparel regarding the character. Existing for over 78 years, with limitless comic iterations, cartoons, and films. What could be considered the quintessential Batman story? What gives us the truest incarnation of the legend that is Batman? Well, for me, it's the animated film Mask of the Phantasm. Let me paint a picture for you. It's 1993. Bill Clinton has just been sworn in. Mortal Kombat is in your Sega Genesis. Nothing But a G-Thang is topping the charts. And gene suits are totally in. But what's the biggest thing in animated television? Batman the Animated Series, baby! Greenlit in 1992 based on the success of Tim Burton's Batman Returns, this superhero show was much more than just a cash grab movie tie-in cartoon. Looking at you, Dumb and Dumber the Animated Series. Batman the Animated Series was known for its uniquely dark and gritty art style. Backgrounds being drawn on black paper and adding color by Eric Rodamski. Its ridiculously talented voice cast with Kevin Conroy and Luke Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill as America's favorite clown prince of crime, the Joke Man. And for its incredibly original story, being just as good, if not better than the comics, creating an actual canon origin story for Mr. Freeze, and completely creating the fan-favorite character, Harley Quinn. Winner of 2 Emmys at this point, and nominated for many more, this show took audiences of children and adults alike by storm. With the show's massive success, the heads of critics were turned along with the money-hungry studio execs at Warner Brothers. The team behind the show, comprised of Eric Rodamski, Bruce Timm, and Alan Burnett, were approached to do a direct-to-video film spinning off of the series. They worked vigorously on an original story to top what they've done with the series, creating a few new in-depth characters, adding some never-before-seen history to the character of Batman for the small film. Production for Batman Mask of the Phantasm was well underway when the small team received some news. The money-hungry Warner Brothers suits realized the financial success of the series and also realized a movie on a bigger screen means bigger bucks. The Mask of the Phantasm team was given a bigger budget along with the news that with the 8 months they were allotted for a direct-to-video movie, they had to produce a film for a wide theatrical release. Let me explain to you why this sucks. A wide-release animated film around the time took multiple years to produce. Hell, the wildebeest scene in Lion King alone took nearly 3 years to animate. You see, a few scenes in Phantasm were already composed, which you'd think would make the 8 months easier, right?
Wrong, sir. Wrong.
Yes, they had a few scenes put together, but in the standard TV full screen aspect ratio of 4:3. For a wide release film, they would have to redo everything in the 16:9 widescreen aspect ratio. At least the team were given a few plus sides. Of course, there was a large bump in budget, but they were also given complete creative control, giving them the ability to make this film how they wanted to. With hard work like you wouldn't believe, on the Christmas of 1993, Batman Mask of the Phantasm was theatrically released. Maintaining the iconic style of the series, Mask of the Phantasm had the feel of a classic 40s mystery noir. Batman faces murder allegations when a new masked crusader of the night shows up. But the only difference between Batman and this new Dark Knight is the newbie isn't afraid to break Batman's one rule.
I don't kill. It's like my one rule.
Killing off many of Gotham's major mob bosses. The police believe the murders to be committed by Bats himself. With the hassle of the police on his tail, Batman is on the case to figure out who's killing these bosses and ruining his good Bat name. On top of all that, Joker is hired by a paranoid mob boss to stop Batman because he's sure he's next on the kill list. And though Joker doesn't accept the money, he's interested, so now he's in the mix. And on top of all of that, An old love interest re-enters Bruce Wayne's life, which stirs up some feelings from his past. Basically, this film is a barrage of bullshit for poor old Bats, but the viewer wouldn't have him any other way than in constant misery. Am I right? You might be asking yourself, why do a review on this movie? With Batman's arsenal of animated and live-action films, why is this the one you want to revisit, Khalil? What's the point of this video? What's the point of this series? What's the point of any of it? Why are we here? Well, with about a dozen theatrical Batmen and countless animated outings, Mask of the Phantasm is the best Batman movie. That's right, I goddamn said it. With Tim Burton's Batman, Nolan's Dark Knight, Snyder's whatever, Mask of the Phantasm is the absolute best portrayal of Batman. This movie features a Batman that is everything he was originally intended to be. The original intention of Batman's creation by Bob Kane was to be an inspiration of 1930s pop culture, to be a culmination of characters such as Doc Savage, Dick Tracy, and Sherlock Holmes, making him the ultimate sleuth. Can you honestly say you've seen hints of any of this in the aforementioned Batman movie outings? People oftentimes forget that Batman is known as the world's greatest detective, an aspect of Batman's character that's never really been explored in a film, but is showcased in full force here. This was also the very first film to take even a glimpse at the training process of Bruce Wayne into Batman. Yes, even before Nolan did it. Instead of looking at Batman as just a superhero or a billionaire with dead parents, this film was the first to delve into Batman as an actual character and take a look at who he really is. Sure, he's always been broken and sad over his dead parents, but we've seen that time and time again. But what happens when the Dark Knight falls in love? What does that do to him? This is in fullest effect during a beautiful scene of Bruce Wayne in the graveyard, repenting to his parents for being happy. And instead of doing what most Batman films do and retell the story of his murdered parents, this movie assumes that its audience is smart enough to know what's basic common knowledge at this point. The fact that yes, Batman's parents were killed. It didn't give us one of these classic scenes.
Cuidado! Ele tem uma... Mamãe, papai, não. Não.
Because it knew it didn't have to. This could have easily been a cash grab TV series spin-off film, but the creators had more respect for the character than that, featuring some of the coolest Batman fight sequences, an intriguing plot full of twists and mysticism, and the most character development he's ever been given. To top all of that off, it featured everything that was great about the cartoon, and then some. The entire cast was back, giving performances of a lifetime that could have been worthy of live action. Also, let it be known that these are all of my quintessential performances of these characters. Whenever I read a Batman comic, these are the voices I hear.
That's not the answer I want.
Wouldn't it be great if I'd finally driven him off the deep end?
With extremely fluid animations and beautifully painted backgrounds, this 90s cartoon was very reminiscent of classic animation while having its own unique and dark style. The writing being extremely competent, with witty dialogue and beautiful use of foreshadowing and irony, especially in the contrast of the World Fair scenes. Not to mention the booming operatic score composed by Shirley Walker. This could be and should be one of cinema's greats. But let's be honest here. How many of you can truthfully say you've seen it, let alone heard about it?
I totally know what it is. Don't be stupid.
Don't worry, it's not your fault. Though Phantasm is ranked as one of the best Batman films, it took home the least amount of revenue. Remember how I said the team had 8 months to complete this film? Well, let's think about that from marketing's perspective. Let's say it took the animators 6 months to come up with enough footage to constitute editing a trailer with. That leaves 2 months for the marketing team to sift through that footage and try to come up with something for a trailer before its Christmas release date. And honestly, when was the last time you saw a trailer for the first time 2 months prior to the release of its film? So when the trailer finally dropped, it gave no incentive as to what this movie was, other than it being a cartoon starring Batman. When the film was released, it wasn't even really known about, so it came and it went. There were just too many factors in opposition of this film's success. It's a movie like this that truly shows an animated superhero film isn't just for kids. If it were financially successful, it could have opened a door for more movies of this nature to be made. Instead, it's a fantastic hidden gem. It's worth going out of your way to find though. It's not streaming on any services, believe me, I looked, but it's worth the $5 on Amazon for the DVD, or the couple bucks to buy it digitally. When looking at the mythos that is Batman, let's not forget the portion that is truest to its character at its core. This is one movie I don't want to get lost with all of the other hidden gems out there. So if you have a moment, check out Batman Mask of the Phantasm. You'll be doing yourself a favor.
What we do here is go back.